Welcome back, everybody. This is Chris Sussman, otherwise known as the Barbecue Buddha, and I am back here to talk to you about grilling steak again. Last week, we took the bottom of the sirloin primal cut, the tri-tip, and this week we're going to the top sirloin, or what we like to call in America, it's probably French actually, the culotte, or the top sirloin cap, but otherwise known in Brazilian steakhouses around the world, the picanha. This is that delicious cut that you see curved around on those Brazilian skewers, and that nice fat cap on top. It's a lean cut. This happens to be a Snake River Farms cut, so it's well marbled for a top sirloin roast, but it is still very lean. So the trick to this is cooking it right, rendering that fat nice and slowly, getting that flavor into the meat, and then searing off before the end. We're gonna reverse sear this just like we did the tri-tip last week, and we're gonna cook this whole. I'm not gonna do this on a rotisserie. I'm gonna do this on the big green egg, and we're gonna cook this nice piece of culotte, picanha, top sirloin roast, all in one contiguous piece, then slice it. And if I get around to it, I'll make a little fresh chimichurri that's the perfect complement for this cut of beef. So, like any large roast, you've got the silver skin right here. We're gonna trim that up. A little bit of this extra fat we're gonna get off. We're gonna leave this fat cap on, because that's what you do with this type of roast. You leave the fat cap on, but I'm gonna cross hatch cut this so the fat renders a little more during the cook. And we get the flavoring down to the meat, because you don't wanna miss the flavoring. All right, so now that we got all the excess fat off the meat side and the silver skin trimmed off, I'm just gonna cross hatch this fat cap here. So here we go, you just do straight lines like that, right down until you feel the knife touch the meat. And then you turn it sideways and you go opposite direction. Doing is you're making a crosshatch pattern like a tic-tac-toe box. And there you go. You can see the crosshatch all the way down to the meat. It's looking good. We're gonna get our seasoning and we'll be right back. We're gonna season this up with my good friends at Spanglish Asadero. We're gonna use their Surf and Turf rub and their all-purpose seasoning rub. These two rubs are a delicious combo. I highly recommend it on this cut of beef. It's gonna accentuate this delicious Brazilian steakhouse flavor. So we'll start with the all-purpose rub first, and we'll get a nice coating on the flesh side. Now we're gonna work it on to the fat side. Nice layer of the Spanglish Asadero all-purpose seasoning. Now we're gonna finish the seasoning off with this Spanglish Asadero Surf and Turf. Just get a little extra flavoring into this large roast. There we go, this beautiful culotte roast top sirloin picanha is all seasoned up. We're gonna let this sit at room temperature while we fire up the big green egg, and then we'll get this baby on. We're gonna reverse sear it. So we're gonna cook this about 30 minutes at 250, rest it, and then fire up the egg really hot, about 500 degrees, and get a nice sear on all sides. That fat should render nicely. The beef will be cooked perfectly, medium rare. We'll slice it, we'll serve it, we'll get a taste, and that's how you do a picanha, people. Be right back. All right, people, for this cook, I've got the big green egg set up to just about 250 degrees. Let's take a look inside. I'm using the expander base with the ceramic half moon for indirect grilling, and then we're gonna finish it off on the direct side over here. Let's go ahead and get this picanha on and get it going. All right, everybody, while that picanha is cooking away on the big green egg, we are gonna make a homemade chimichurri sauce. This couldn't be any easier. I already did all the ingredients for you. Again, if you wanna see me chopping and dicing and knife skills, please leave me a comment below and I will include that in my next video. But I find it easier to teach when everything is already mise en place. All the ingredients are in place. So the very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna macerate the shallots. So we're gonna put the shallots inside this bowl. Next thing you know, fresh garlic. Got a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Add that inside. And the magic happens when you add the vinegar. So we're gonna add this red wine vinegar, pour that right inside there, and we're gonna mix all of these ingredients with a fork. What you wanna do is get that nice and saturated, all the flavors fused. This is gonna be the base for our fresh chimichurri. We're gonna let that sit here for 10 minutes. All right, like magic, we're back. It's 10 minutes later. The shallots, the garlic, all of that flavor has been macerated. So the very first thing I'm gonna do is put in cilantro, a half a cup of cilantro. Now we're gonna put in a 1/4 cup of fresh parsley. Got some dried oregano, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. And the fun part, we are now gonna whisk this oil in. Let me merge those flavors first. Just mix it around. Get the vinegar, the garlic, the shallots all mixed in with the greens. Form a nice base for this chimichurri sauce. And now I'm just gonna whisk in the oil. Look at that magic spinning bowl. And there you go. We have whisked all that olive oil in, and look at that beautiful, fresh chimichurri sauce. So let's set this to the side. Let's go out there and check on the picanha. All right, it's been about 30, 40 minutes. We're gonna check the temp of this picanha. We're right at 120 degrees. It's exactly where you want it to be. We're gonna let this picanha rest for a few minutes while we bring the big green egg up to 500 degrees. All right, everybody. It has been a few minutes. The big green egg is up to 500 degrees. You see the direct side right here. So I'm just gonna start cooking this picanha to get it seared off. I'm gonna put the fat side down first and get a little bit of that fat rendered. Ooh, listen to that juiciness. And I'll pour these juices back on top. Give this a flip. You can see my setup here. I'm using the expander base, so I'm really cooking above the felt line. Some people call that raised direct. That way you have a little bit more control. You're not as close to the flames. And when you got a highly marbled and highly fatty piece of meat like this, that's good, so you don't get flare-ups and that acrid flavor on your barbecue. Oh yeah, I think we are, see that bottom? I think we're looking good, people. Let's get this baby off of the big green egg. Ooh, yeah. All right, everybody, we're back. We just pulled this beautiful picanha off the big green egg. Look at that. Fat has a nice color to it. You can even see some grill marks rendered down. Beautiful crust on the backside of this roast. This is gonna be delicious. Perfect medium rare. You get that nice fat cap on top. Beautiful top sirloin roast underneath. Medium rare. If you could see in close, you see this incredible marbling from the Snake River Farms Wagyu. This is going to be an insanely delicious roast. You want to cut them in about 1-inch strips, the steaks, so they look like that. That is just so beautiful. Gorgeous reverse seared picanha roast from Snake River Farms. This is textbook how you do it. It's a great roast to serve for dinner. Please enjoy this. I'm gonna trim up a little bite right here. We'll get this chimichurri. Nice green chimichurri. Oh, look at that. Let's get a bite of this. Check it out. Well, that's it, everybody. We made it through another week together, cooking another delicious beef roast, this time the picanha with a fresh chimichurri sauce. I think this was a good experience. If you feel the same, please leave a message down below. Until we eat again, cook something good for me. I'll see you all soon. Thank you.